So recently there has been a new development in the airline industry. It's the idea of ultra low cost carriers. These carriers would give extremely cheap ticket fares often up front, but then they would also add many charges onto that, and they also give very low comfort. Instead of using these, it's important to consider that legacy carriers would actually give a better might actually give a better deal, because they would support an upfront price with a with more comfort. So ultra low cost carriers argue that lower prices should be accompanied by less comfort, like they reduce they have no seat back pockets, which is typically offered on most flights, and they have, for instance, drink charges or non-reclining seats, according to independent.ie and joydelavita.com. So the reduction of prices accompanied by extra fees, such as €55 or more for checking in at the airport, which is offered by almost every airline, and up to £40 at the airport for checked baggage. This was typically offered for free, and also that's on Ryanair. According to their own website, Ryanair is one of the most notoriously bad low-cost carriers there is. Also, Spirit Airlines, which is also famous for its ultra low-cost carrier scheme, charges for carry-on baggage starting at $26, and if you come with it to the airport, they will charge you $100. So they suggest these low-cost carriers, they suggest a reduction in services for a cheaper ticket, but adding all these fees on is actually going to make it more expensive often than the other airline options. So what do we have instead of low-cost carriers? Well, there's the legacy carriers, and those they provide more comfort and more amenities than the low-cost carriers. For instance, EasyJet, low-cost carrier, has 29 inches of pitch, which is the distance between the back of one seat and the back of the next seat. And then according to Seekuru.com, Ethiopian Airlines, which is a legacy carrier, provides 30 to 33, which is 1 to 4 inches more. Additionally, food is typically given for free on these legacy carriers, except on domestic United States flights. Good legacy carriers also give an upfront price. Proverbs 11:1 says, "A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." Although the cheap tickets, they look really good, often you'll end up paying a lot more than you expected, and it often becomes cheaper to use the legacy carriers, and why not use them if they're going to be better service? And legacy carriers they provide mileage programs for use, so that means you can get loyalty, and they will upgrade you or give you bonuses. And unlike the low-cost carriers, who basically you're just flying to one place, and they don't care basically about the passengers. And so, in my opinion, legacy carriers are really preferable because they have much better comfort, and they don't add the surprising fee that you're not expecting. So many people, though, they would say, "Oh, well, legacy carriers, some of them are starting to charge for baggage and other sorts of stuff that were not previously charged." But really, this is the legacy carriers switching over to a low-cost strategy that the people are complaining about. So that's why I object to the low-cost strategy, because these legacy carriers, seeing how so many people are deceived by the low-cost carrier strategy, they also begin to transform their system on some airlines, and that's what the people are complaining about. And then other people would just say, we just want to fly cheaply, we don't care about the comfort. But all those fees really make spike the price up very high compared to the original price. On some flights you could end up with like more than 200% addition of price by fees. And some people say, well, you're booking a very cheap fare, you would expect horrible service. But in my opinion, this horrible service isn't deserved on an airline. And plus, all these extra fees are really just a tiny way of making the price go up to the point that it would be in the first place with the legacy carrier. And others would claim that one should expect the unacceptable fees when booking, but then they pass over the fact that these fees raise the price. Overall, in my opinion, legacy carriers are the best to use because they give an honest, straightforward, upfront price, and they also give better services and more comfort and food, and their whole system is more nice to the passenger, and they also give loyalty to their frequent flyers. And this is an important topic. Passengers need to be aware of what's going to happen to them if they book with these ultra low cost carriers, and they really need to be aware of all these charges that are just going to make their price often equal to, or similar to, often even greater than the legacy carrier cost. And for those in the airline industry, it's important for them to keep hold of the legacy carrier values for passengers who enjoy using them. And also it is important for the passengers not to be fooled by the cheap prices. They need to compare and contrast the whole idea of things, because they may end up paying more than they thought they would.